A 5-year investigation in sex misuse in Australia has liberated its definitive paper, Proverb Institutions had severely unsuccessful to defend family. The King Committee, Australia's highest shape of social investigation, heard more than rather than 8,000 testimonies of victims of misuse. The accusations coded churches, schools and sport clubs above many decades. Amongst more than rather than 400 recommendations, the paper telephone call on the Roman Catholic Chapel to major repair its celibate rules. Tens of thousands of family include been sexually offended in lot Australia institutions. We will never aware the real quantity, the paper told. It is not a instance of a few rot apples. Communities' main institutions include severely unsuccessful. With 2013, the King Committee has called more than rather than 2,500 concoction to authorities. The definitive paper, liberated on Friday, added 189 recommendations to 220 how had already been done social. The proposals will now be deliberated by Legislative Assembly. Main Secretary Malcolm Turnbull told a domestic tragic had been vulnerable. The King Committee in institution responding to kid sex misuse had the force to see at any individual, social or non-government flesh implicated in family. It was contacted by more than rather than 15,000 human beings. More than rather than 8,000 victims said his stories, lot for the at first period in individual sessions. 2559 concoction called to police force with the investigation began in 2013. 230 prosecutions include begun 41,770 telephone call acquired of members of the social 60,000 survivors may be acceptable for reimbursement, estimates say the committee, as well acquired more than rather than 1,300 spelled accounts and detained 57 social hearings through the nationality. Concoction were grown versus more than rather than 4,000 institutions. Sectarian ministers and high school teaching staff were the largest usually informed perpetrators, the paper told. The big quantity were in Roman Catholic institutions. The definitive paper on Friday forced Australia Roman Catholic bishops to application the Vatican to correct canon law to enable priests to paper such a disclosures. It as well told the Roman Catholic Chapel should believe manufacturing celibate volunteer for priests since time it was no a straight reason of kid sex misuse, it had introduced to the incident of kid sex misuse, particularly while combination in some hazard factors. Amongst its some main received information, the investigation suggested, through the investigation, lot leaders of institutions acknowledged failures and apologized to victims on name of his groups. On Friday, the CEO of the Australia Roman Catholic Bishops' Meeting, Metropolitan Dennis Hart, proposed an absolute excuse. "There is a disgraceful history, in that a predominant civilization of privacy and personality protection led to superfluous affliction for lot victims and his families," he told. Yet, he discarded change the rules on denomination. Same print of the confession, or the relation in God house transferred via the clergyman and in the man, is untouchable, he told. But Sydney's Roman Catholic Metropolitan Anthony Fisherman said reporters how kid sex misuse was an question for all, idle or no, proverb. The issue as well occurred in families and institutions in non-celibate priesthood. Australia's largest elder Anglican drawing, Melbourne Metropolitan Dr. Philip Freyer, apologised for our failures and by the disgraceful way we occasionally vigorously treated versus and confused such who came to us and informed misuse. Asterisk names include been modified in the paper to defend the identities of the survivors.